Is the middle class on its deathbed in 2023, or are people just complaining and freaking out on social media for no reason? This is one of those stories that to me is just fascinating. I can't look away from it. And so to look at how far our financial health has fallen, I say let's compare some basic cost of living numbers from 1983 compared to what we're facing in 2023, just 40 years later. And that might seem like a long time ago, but 40-year-olds today were little babies back in 1983. And their parents had dreams of raising them into a world where they could do better than they did growing up. But the country that developed over those 40 years is unlike anything those parents back then probably could have imagined for their little babies, who are 40-year-olds today. So talk about a midlife crisis, because back in 1983, the median household income was $24,580 per year. Today, that number has gone up to $76,201, which is an increase of 210%, which is pretty cool. We are all making more money. But back in 1983, the median price of a single family home was $75,300. And in 2023, the median price of a single family home, many of those homes are the same homes that existed and were built in 1983. The median price for those is now $431,500, which is an increase of 473%, which is interesting. If my math is correct, home prices have gone up more than people's ability to earn. But it doesn't stop there, because in 1983, the average price of a new car was $9,175. And in 2023, the average cost of a brand new car in the United States is $48,000, which is an increase of 423%. So now let's hit some necessities really quickly and compare the things that we all have to buy on a daily or monthly basis, like food, gasoline, healthcare, and the pesky issue of higher education. So for food, to keep things simple, we'll look at a McDonald's meal, a Big Mac meal. And in 83, you could get a Big Mac, fries, and a Coke for $2.59. A gallon of gas back then cost you $1.16. And in 1983, healthcare costs per person came out to about $1,459 per person per year. And at that time, for a 4-year degree, you'd wind up paying $4,000. So let's run those numbers against what you have to pay for those same things in 2023 on your increased median household income of $76,000 a year. But let's keep in mind, not everybody is making $76,000 a year. There are still people in our society who are making 20, 30, 40 grand a year, and how those people are surviving is a complete mystery. Because today, that Big Mac, fries, and a Coke has gone from $2.59 to $10.82. That's a 317% increase. And the crazy thing is, fast food back in the day wasn't just convenient because of how fast it was actually in many cases way cheaper to eat fast food than to buy food from the store and prepare meals yourself at home. And that is just not the case anymore. So anyway, back to gasoline. The price of fuel has gone from $1.16 to, on average, $3.57 per gallon. That's a 207% increase. Healthcare in the United States has gone from roughly $1,459 per person to over $7,000 per person per year, a 359% increase. And finally, let's talk about education, because the price of that 4-year degree has exploded from $4,000 for a 4-year degree to $104,000 on average. That doesn't include grad school. That is a 2,500% increase. Penny stocks and crypto meme coins don't go up by that much. And this is where the middle class finds itself in 2023, where the median household income has increased by 210% over the last 40 years. But during that same time, the cost of everything else that we mentioned in this video, collectively averaged out, has increased by 719%. And most of that has been driven by the cost of education and the cost of housing. And we haven't even talked about taxes and Social Security and childcare and a dozen other different things that American families have to pay for every single month. Now, I don't know if the middle class is dying, but these numbers are crazy, and it certainly feels like the middle class is in trouble with no way out. And the biggest and most obvious issue here comes down to the price of higher education. Because if you want a society to progress and flourish and grow and innovate, you want an educated population. But the cost of getting a 4-year degree has increased by 2,000 2,500% in the last 40 years, while the income that you can expect to make with that degree has only increased by 210%. And it doesn't take a math whiz to see how stupid that investment is. So aside from skipping college on your journey through life, the question really is, what do we all do about this? I see this question in my comments all the time, and I'm no expert, but I love digging into this stuff on my own because I find it fascinating. And it's probably worth mentioning, with an election year on the horizon, that it's worth considering a big reason we are where we are financially is because of how easily our government and politicians are influenced by giant multi-billion-dollar corporations who all use lobbyists to buy, pay for, and influence politicians to pass laws and legislation that benefit them rather than us. And these politicians that sell out have allowed corporate America to basically loot the middle class and use them as their personal piggy bank for 40 years. And I really don't have any answers, but it definitely feels like until the buying off of politicians before they even make it into office stops, these things probably won't get better, but they'll continue to get worse. But again, I'm no expert. So what do you think the solution is?